We are moving on to the uneven bars at the World Championships in Antwerp, Belgium. We've seen the men's floor, women's vault, men on the pommel horse, and now the women on the uneven bars before we finish things off for the day with the men on the rings. And Yao Jinnan of China will be first up. She is the top qualifier and had the best marks on the uneven bars yesterday in the all-around competition.
Well, she has the highest start value, 6.7, and a release move that you very rarely see, coming right up at the beginning.
It's originally invented by U.S. gymnast Mitch Gaylord, but the first woman to do it on bars was Huang Huidan, China.
Wow, that's why that release move is so hard. Came over the top in a front grip. Very difficult, and her fingertips were on the edge, and of course just peeled off. Wow.
You could see in her face when she got back up how much she was rattled by that fall as well.
Well, she still has the entire bar routine to finish. Lots of pirouetting moves there.
Oh, what a shame. I admire her for going for that extremely difficult and, as you can see, sometimes dangerous move. Wow.
Well, you can see these young ladies don't even wear grips, and so those release moves are already hard to catch because they don't have a dowel to give them that extra grip. But right here you can see fingertips and just not enough. I mean, lots of force coming through on the catch of that release. Combination work there was phenomenal. Her qualifying score was a 15.433, 3/10 higher than #2 Kyla Ross, but that just opened the door.
She was asked about this move, and she said, maybe some people are terrified, but I'm not afraid.
Beautiful dismount.
She's the only member of the Chinese 2012 Olympic team who hasn't retired.
Well, these young ladies that are in the vault and bar finals, they're coming off of the all-around final yesterday, and so they haven't really had any time to recover mentally or physically. And competing multiple days in a row like that can be very hard.
Huang Huidan, also from China, next up. The two Americans will be a little later, Simone Biles and Kyla Ross back-to-back later in this routine.
Excuse me, Steve, but it's a little unlucky that the Chinese gymnasts, who are well known for bars, drew positions 1 and 2 in the finals. Usually a little bit of a disadvantage.
Yao Jinnan, who just missed a medal in the uneven bars in London, finishing 4th, has a score of 14.633 as the first woman up on the bars today. And her teammate will now follow her. Qualified with a score of 15.133. 17 years of age. Gold medalist at the Chinese Nationals this year.
The Chinese athletes always known for amazing bars, their body lines, their pirouettes, and their combinations.
Oh, nice. Especially these pirouetting skills, they are unmatched in terms of finishing those pirouettes at the handstand position. Whoa, nice.
Fighting for that landing. That score of a 15.133 put her in 3rd place in the qualification. Beautiful lines throughout this routine, but you can also see impeccable form. Tough to do when you're doing that many pirouettes and putting them in combination. She doesn't even wear anything on her hands, not even the tape grip.
Yeah, that's hard to believe. Most of the top gymnasts use some type of hand guard does two things. One, it does protect your hand, and two, it gives you a mechanical advantage in terms of hanging on, because there's a dowel rod at the end of that guard. I learned something interesting about the Chinese gymnasts the other day. When they're young, they're sent down to Guangzhou in the southern part of China just to work specifically for 2 years on those pirouetting skills. And then they're sent back to the National Center near Beijing to complete their work on the bars, because they have a specialist down there who teaches just pirouette skills. And it's obvious because no one does them as well as the Chinese gymnasts do.
So a slight delay in getting the scores, as Yao Jinnan led things off as the top qualifier, had a fall on the uneven bars, and now her teammate Huang Huidan just completing her routine next. And her score. 15.4.
Wow, she had a 15.133 in qualifying. So.
Now this is Rebecca Downie, 21-year-old from Great Britain. She was reserved for the Olympic team last year in her home country. Two-time British national champion on the uneven bars.
Oh, and boy, does she have a crazy routine here. A lot of exciting release moves. Uprise, you're seeing a lot of these combinations now.
Of course, those combination pirouetting right on top like that, putting them in combination along with those big skills is what affects the difficulty score.
That Stalder to Piked Tkachev release move is named after her. I love how aggressive this is. Oh, no. You know, she was doing a transition from the low to the high bar, and she missed the uprise, and I think it flustered her a little bit.
Well, an easy element, half pirouette there, and just overshot it. Very end of the routine. Fatigue is definitely set in. But she also was going for the handstand. That's a really important part of bars. The judges specifically looking for those vertical lines on every single element.
Oh, there's no question she could have won a medal today with the degree of difficulty and the aggressive style. Oh, my.
All that was left was the dismount.
12th in the all-around at the Olympics in 2008. Had a torn ACL in 2011, but came back on the uneven bars, helping the team at the World Championships.
Dames en heren, een fotograaf uit IJsland werkt een paar dagen geleden.
Claire Starkey is her coach.
Rugzak met daarin onder meer een duur.
She had some very impressive moves like that right there.
That's the move that's named after her. He stalled her to reverse hecht in a piked position.
Als u iets moest hebben gezien, laten we het alstublieft weten aan de organisatie. Die man is het echt.
Came back from that fall with a very strong dismount.
Al zijn spullen kwijt. En dan die fotografeert hier op het WK. Ladies and gentlemen, a photographer from Iceland was robbed from his photo equipment a few days ago.
All right, so how much damage control did she do after the fall? After getting back on? Rebecca Downie. Waiting on her scores, does not look optimistic.
No, and there's one other gymnast from Great Britain in the finals, Ruby Harrold. And of course, gymnastics enthusiasts know that Great Britain has done exceptionally well on the bars in the last several years.
We go to Germany.
So the score 13.8 for Rebecca Downie. And Sophie Scheder of Germany coming up next. She'll be followed by the two Americans, Simone Biles and then Kyla Ross.
German gymnasts are doing very well on this event in particular.
Nice opening combination. Believe that element was supposed to be directly connected to that release up to the high bar.
Really has a very long swing.
Clean routine. It looks like she missed one connection. That won't be an execution deduction per se, but it will affect her difficulty score. Clean form throughout. A lot of nice in-bar work.
Gymnastic coach, two happy people after this exercise from Germany.
She qualified with a 14.566. Nice pirouette on top. You can see those feet coming between her hands. That's very difficult. You mentioned her long swing. Not many athletes have the flexibility or are able to swing in such a long position to clear their feet through the bar. And she did it throughout the entire routine.
Very good at those in-bar Stalder type moves. Great extension in her shoulder throughout all those swing elements. Nice technique. A similar form and execution that we see from Kyla Ross.
Elle représente les États-Unis. Elle est championne en world.
All right, so with the two Americans on deck, Sophie Scheder, the German, waits on her score. As we reach the midway point of the individual event finals on the uneven bars for the women.
World all-round champion.
So the German Sophie Scheder with a score of 14.683 on the uneven bars tonight.
The German finalist, Sophie Scheder.
Huang Huidan of China, the current leader, at the midway point of the finals on the uneven bars. The two Americans coming up next. First, it's Simone Biles, who already has a silver medal from earlier this evening, and she is the all-around world champion, a title she won yesterday.
Simone has performed very well on this event. She is not known necessarily for bars. You can see some form. You see her feet come apart, and of course that body alignment on those pirouettes, but she's got the big skills right there.
The only gymnast here in Antwerp to qualify for the all-around in all 4 event finals. Amazing week of competition for her.
And another great routine.
You're right, she's actually not known to do very well on bars, and here she is in the finals at the World Championship. That's just the kind of week she's having.
She's got a strong routine with a difficulty score of a 6.1. Where she struggles is execution. You can see right there, her feet came apart on the release move. And on some of the pirouetting elements right on top of the bar, you see a little bit of arch in her back and that shoulder angle right there. The skills are all there, so one thing that Simone can really focus on this event is just tightening up those form and execution errors.
She did actually, interestingly enough, get the highest execution score in the qualifying round.
Qualified with a 14.8 day one, and then in the finals had a 14.7, so she has been consistent.
Score to beat right now, of course, is 15.4 from Huang.
All right, so the score for the American Simone Biles, after winning a silver medal earlier on the vault, a 14.716 will also put her in second place on the uneven bars behind Huang Huidan of China, with 3 more athletes left to go. So the Chinese continue to lead, and the next American will be Kyla Ross, who finished just behind Biles yesterday in the all-around competition, winning the silver medal.
Now the exact opposite comes in play with Kyla Ross. She is known for her execution and her form. Difficulty score 6.4.
She's the current U.S. champion on this event. Oh, a little bit of a form break.
Double layout. Wow. Great landing. I think that routine was a little bit better than the all-around finals.
She had the second best qualifying mark and follows it up with a very potent performance.
Congratulations from her coach, Jenny Zhang, her in Southern California.
Le trophée Longines pour la gymnaste la plus élégante.
She had a nice swing throughout this routine. Perfect body alignment.
And boy, she just drilled that handstand and that shoot half from the high bar to the low bar. A transition from the high bar to the low bar is one of the things the judges are looking for.
Now Ross, born in Hawaii, living in Aliya Viejo, California. And alongside her teammate Simone Biles, who is currently in second place, but Ross waiting for her score. Needs to beat 15.4 to move into first. Huang Huidan of China, the current leader.
Don't think she quite has the difficulty to get there, although she'll have a strong score. I don't think it's enough to get into first.
I saw that there's 2 seconds away from God. I haven't done all this stuff yet. You were in your practice. I didn't even get
A 15.266, that's good for second place.
And her highest score for this week at this competition.
But Huang Huidan continues to lead. The Americans now second and third. As Aliya Mustafina, the 20-year-old Russian, is next. She is the Olympic and reigning European champion in this event.
Did a terrific job to finish in the third spot in the all-around finals yesterday here.
And an outstanding bar routine in that competition. She did edge out Kyla by a little over a tenth. So she is capable of a big score.
Look at that full twist there. That move is called a sight. It was invented by a German gymnast, and that's a new addition to her transitions. Beautiful.
Well, if you notice all these twisting releases, her feet never come apart. Little bit of a form break on that pirouetting element. You saw an arch in the back, but no problem releasing out.
Oh, so great, all these immediate connections. Oh!
Wow, that's going to be close. The bar routine was amazing. She had that little bit of an error on the handstand. Dismount, 1.5 twist. She stepped back, and she tried to cover it up yesterday also, but ended up taking 2 full steps today.
That is the move that dismount is named after her. Double back with a 1.5 twist. She had a 6.7 degree of difficulty in the all-around final. Only a 6.2 in the qualification here.
Her score in the finals on the uneven bars is a 15.233. See that look on her face when she was walking off. She knows that she left a little room for an opportunity and or the chance to not edge out the Americans. Right
yeah, I
there.
think if she would have drilled that landing, she could have confidently moved into the top spot. So now it's in the hands of the judges.
Well, that's what makes it so tough. Those steps are so subjective. It can be anywhere from 1/10, 3/10, or 5/10.
Now the former world all-around champion now getting her scores on the uneven bars. 15.033, that's going to move her into third place. Simone Biles gets bumped down to 4th. Kyla Ross remains in 2nd, and that young lady there, Huang Huidan, is still the leader with one more competitor still to go.
One more gymnast.
So Ross guaranteed a medal, and now Great Britain's Ruby Harrold, the 17-year-old, up last.
The tall order for this young lady had a 6-3 difficulty score, qualified 7th into the finals. There's a great move coming up here. Full twist transition to the low bar, known as a bardwage, named after Mohini, the great American gymnast.
Wow. Very unique move as she jammed through directly down to the low bar.
Pirouette to handstand.
Finishing double front. It's a tough landing. Line landing came up a little bit short there again, took those 2 steps back. She had a lot of difficulty packed in that routine.
Now, former bronze medalist in this event at the British National Championships.
Right there, very difficult full twisting down to the low bar. Watch this though, jams right through down to the low bar.
Ruby Harrold was a reserve for her team on home soil at the Olympic Games last year in London.
Saw a lot of big skills in that rotation and of course some falls, which opens the door for everybody.
And 14.333, so Huang Huidan of China is your world champion in the uneven bars in Antwerp.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Kyla Ross of the U.S. wins the silver medal.
final of the day.
Kyla Ross, her 2nd silver medal of these world championships, to go along with the 2nd place in the all-around. And Mustafina finishes in 3rd. She'll claim the bronze medal tonight in Belgium. One more apparatus final coming up next, the men's rings, when we continue.